Breaking news. It is the moment we have now been anticipating for a long time on this show. Equal justice, equal application of our laws. Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, he was a war hero. He served this country honorably and with distinction. With multiple tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, he put himself in harm's way for our freedom and our way of life. 33 years of total service. He was unfairly and unjustly targeted by deep state bureaucrats that clearly, with all the evidence now to prove it, wanted to take him down. We have newly unsealed documents that prove that corrupt agents from Jim Comey's FBI were discussing strategies on how to set General Flynn up on what we call a perjury trap. And according to one handwritten note, an unnamed agent asked, well, what is our goal here? Is it truth, admission, or to get him to lie? To get him to lie. Is that our goal? So we can prosecute him or get him fired. Is that the FBI's role? And get this, in an email, Peter Strzok and his FBI lover, Lisa Page, they discussed how to casually slip in an admonition about lying under oath in order to set a stronger perjury trap. These agents were preparing for an interview that ultimately did take place on January the 24th, 2017, day 4 of the Trump administration. Truth be told, it was an ambush. It was a legal abuse of power, corrupt ambush. Now, remember, during a phone call, it was Deputy FBI Director McCabe. He recommended that Flynn, you don't need to have an attorney present during the interview. That would have been a Miranda rights violation. 4 days after President Trump's inauguration, Peter Strzok, one other agent, they visited the White House, and they were there to interrogate Flynn. They were sent in by Jim Comey himself. James Comey bragging, remember, he sent the agents to grill Flynn just 4 days into the administration. He wanted to exploit the chaos inside the transitioning White House, something he would never do in the Bush or Obama administration or get away with. Ultimately, that perjury trap was not a success. Agents saw no indication at all that the National Security Advisor was lying. They didn't believe he was lying. They said they didn't believe he was lying. Comey's FBI turned the screws anyway. They threatened to lock Flynn up for years. He eventually went bankrupt. He had to sell his home. They threatened to prosecute his son. They ultimately forced him to plead guilty. Get this guilty plea, making him a felon for the rest of his life, or they were going to prosecute his son. They didn't think he lied, but then they forced him to lie, coerced him into making statements. Why? To protect his son. Now, frankly, what great father wouldn't do that? Well, either you sign this or we're going to put your son away for the rest of his life. Where do I sign? Flynn was set up. It was a perjury trap all along. Now, Comey's FBI knew the Russia collusion narrative. They knew it was a hoax, and we have new information regarding that. They were hell-bent on punishing anyone and everyone inside the Trump administration. By the way, Mr. Comey, I've been warning you. You have the right to remain silent. I've suggested you use it. You've not listened to me. Jim, tick-tock. Now, keep in mind, we've been right every step of the way. The media mob, what have they been doing? They have lied. They have advanced hoax after hoax, conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory, state-run so-called news channels. Oh, and the socialist paper, Pravda, of record in the United States. The New York toilet paper Times. Take a look. This is week 1 of the Trump presidency. Isn't the name of Jim Comey's book A Higher Loyalty? Wouldn't that be to the United States Constitution, the rule of law, equal justice under the law? Does that sound like a virtuous public servant to you, or someone trying to trap Lieutenant General Flynn? From day one, page after page after page of evidence, corrupt agents like McCabe and Strzok and Comey and others were conspiring to set Lieutenant General Flynn up and ruin his life. And by the way, this is Exhibit A of a corrupt bureaucracy that is a threat to everything we hold dear. Our republic is now, and I'm not overstating this, we are facing a clear and present danger. America's at a tipping point. We have a very important election in 188 days. Now, to the credit of the Attorney General of the United States, Bill Barr. The Attorney General has been leaving these little crumbs here, there, and everywhere. And if you listen to what he's saying, oh, the president was spied on. candidate was spied on. He's made other statements like, yeah, no, this is not about writing a paper, meaning the Durham investigation. This is about justice. This, my sources tell me tonight, is all happening because the Attorney General believes in the rule of law. By the way, I have an FBI pin here, and I have a CIA pin here. Why? For the 99% that do a great job and protect us every day. We must restore confidence in our premier law enforcement agency, the premier agency in the world, the premier intelligence agency in the world. For the sake of our Constitution, for the sake of the 99% of people who bravely serve these institutions and protect us, and thanks to the President and his Attorney General, Bill Barr, this deep state reckoning is going on right before our eyes. It's sad to see, but at least people believe in the law. This is not how we should be treating a 33-year devoted veteran who loves his country and his son. This is not the last shoe to drop.